we have learned something about the pteridophyte, and uh, today we will solve some question based on that. Okay, so here is the questions. Can you see the first question, that what are the plants comes under pteridophytes? Okay, that is our first question. The horsetail and ferns belongs to, this is horsetail and ferns belongs to which group of plant? This is obvious, it is pteridophyte, is it? Pteridophytes. Say you can see the that horsetail plant. Here is the horsetail. Okay, this one is horsetail. This plant. This has this is a little bit. This one is a little bit a peculiar plant. Okay, unique. You can say in the pteridophyte, it has a very distinct node and internodes. The leaves are scale leaves. These are not leaves, these are branches, and the branches come out in a hold. These are branches of limited growth. Okay, these are branches of limited growth, and they have the underground portion that is called the stem, underground stem, that is rhizome, and mm, here is roots. This is the plant, the whole plants. It's look like, due to this branches, no branches of short growth, limited growth. Due to this, this look like a tails of horse. So this is given the name that horse tail. And this one is a strobilus, or the cone, that is the reproductive structure which produce the spores. And this one is selaginella. This is a climbing, the, it is prostrate, okay, trailing plant. They have roots also, a stem, leaves are small. Here some other pteridophyte, they have, this one is common, that you can identify it. This one is fern. This is also a fern. This is aquatic fern. This one is called salvinia. Okay, they grow in totally in water. Most of the pteridophyte, as we have learned, that they are terrestrial, but some are aquatic also. Okay, so this moss, horsetail, and ferns, they belongs to pteridophyte. Come to the next question is, pteridophyte are also known as, pteridophytes are also known as the vascular cryptogams. They are non-flowering plants. They are non-flowering plants having vascular tissue. Okay, so vascular tissue, cryptogams, that is non-flowering plant, phanerogams, flowering plants. Under phanerogams comes angiosperm and gymnosperm. Amphibious plants are the bryophyte that is called. Okay, then come to question number 3. The sporophytic phase is dominant phase in life cycle of sporophyte is the dominant phase in the life cycle of which one? Mosses, ferns, liverwort, or markensia. This is sporophyte among out of these 4. Okay, moss is bryophyte. This one, liverwort, is bryophyte. Markensia is bryophyte. Is it? So in the bryophyte, the gametophytic phase is dominant. And fern is a pteridophyte. So here it is the sporophytic generation is dominant. It starts from the pteridophyte. So here is the fern as the dominant sporophyte. So from the pteridophyte onwards, sporophytic phase is dominant. Come to next is in bryophyte and pteridophyte, transfer of male gamete require. In bryophyte and pteridophyte, the transfer of male gametes require not insect, not bird. This is by water, and that's why they have to live near the water. So and that is why they are not very successful that way. They cannot spread all over the world. Of course, they are limited to where there is a low temperature, rainfall is high, and humid condition is there. Then come to next question is, in pteridophyte, some spore germinate to give rise to. When the spore germinate, thalloid gametophyte called Prothelus, thalloid sporophyte called Prothelus, thalloid sporocarp, okay, and thalloid photosynthetic sporophyte. So it is that the in pteridophyte, spore is a haploid structure, and haploid structure give gametophyte. Gametophyte is haploid, and so it produce a thalloid, means thallus like gametophyte. Thallus, remember that, which is not differentiated into true leaf, stem, and root. So thalloid gametophyte, and that thalloid gametophyte it is also known as Prothelus. Mosses and ferns are found in moist and shady places. Mosses and ferns are found in moist and shady places because both, what is why they are found in moist and shady places? Because both require water for their fertilization. That is for This is for their fertilization, they require water. Water is essential for their sexual reproduction. So it is this one. Do not need sunlight for photosynthesis. No, they are autotrophs, so they need light for photosynthesis. Depends on their nutrition on microorganisms which can survive only in low temperature. No, these are not true things. This is not the cause. Cannot compete with sun-loving plant. No, this is. There was a time when the pteridophytes were the dominant flora on this earth. Okay, during the course of evolution. So uh, there are pteridophytic plant, particularly the ferns. No, there were trees also. Still, some palm-like tree is found, which is known as tree fern. Okay, they are known as tree fern. And these ferns, they grow luxuriantly if the damp moist condition is there, and they make the dominant forest. Okay, so many of them, with the change in the climatic condition, gradually this condition is not much favorable for the pteridophyte. So gradually the pteridophytes are declining, and it is being occupied by the gymnosperm and the angiosperms. Okay, which of the following pteridophytes are heterosporous in nature? So Heterosporus, we know that which produce two types of spores. Heterosporus, they produce two type of spore. Types of spores. What are those called? Microspore and megaspore. Is it? So Heterosporus groups are which one? Selaginella and Salvinia, Adiantum, Equisetum, Xylotum, Lycopodium, Adiantum, and Xylotum. See, all these, this is Adiantum. Adiantum is a fern. Equisetum is, this one is called, this is the horsetail. Horsetail plant. Okay, Equisetum. Adiantum, this is also known as maiden hair fern. Xylotum and Lycopodium, they are also homosporous. This is all this Adiantum and Xylotum. So these three group, they are homosporous. Okay, and this one, that Selaginella and Salvinia, these two are the Heterosporus. Next, which one of the following is a correct statement? This came in the NEET 2013, a long time back, nearly a decade, but still this type of questions are asked. Of course, now the in the recent years, the pattern of the NEET exam and the question pattern syllabus, that has changed. So we have to concentrate on this. Mm, The pteridophyte gametophyte has a leafy stage. Pteridophytes, pteridophytes, gametophyte has a leafy stage. Um, say this is better in this way. Gametophyte of pteridophyte, that way also can has a leafy stage. This is not correct. Here it is asking what is the correct statement. The gametophyte of pteridophyte has no leafy stage. This is completely thalloid, thallus-like structure. Okay, no leafy stage is there. Leafy stage in the gametophyte of bryophyte has leafy stage. In gymnosperm, of course, this is coming. This is a mixed type of question. All right. One statement is about the gymnosperm also. In gymnosperm, female gametophyte is free living. This is wrong. In gymnosperm and angiosperm, the gametophyte has no independent life. Okay? They don't have independent life. So this is wrong. Anthridiophore and archigoniophores are present in pteridophyte. Say anthridiophore and archigoniophore. This is the stalk on which the anthridia and archigonia they are produced. Okay, this is this umbrella like structure, anthridiophore and archigoniophore. These are present in bryophyte, not in pteridophyte. Anthridia and archigonia are the reproductive sex organ of the pteridophyte also, but they don't have archigoniophore and anthridiophore. Okay, so this is also a wrong one. Origin of seed habit can be traced in pteridophytes. Yes, we have learned that the seed habit evolution, that is evolution of seed habit, begins in pteridophyte fight with the development of with the origin of heterospory. Okay, heterospory has given the chance that the seed habit starts. So origin of the seed habit we can trace back to pteridophyte. This one is the correct statement. Next, the group of plant that bear archigonia is R. Group of plant that bear archigonia. Moss, bryophyte, they have archigonia. Liverwort also produce female sex organ as archigonia. Archigonia is also produced in pteridophyte. So our answer will be all of these. The number 4. Come to 10. Question number 10. A Prothelus is is, what is a Prothelus? Here given a structure in pteridophyte formed before the thallus developed. A structure in pteridophyte formed before the thallus developed. A sporophyte free living structure formed in pteridophyte. This is telling a sporophyte. This Prothelus is not a sporophyte. This is gametophyte. Okay. So this one is not correct. Number three, a gametophyte, free living structure formed in pteridophyte. This is the correct one because gametophyte, a free living, and in pteridophyte, the gametophyte and the sporophyte are free living. So this is a gametophyte, free living, formed in pteridophyte, a primitive structure formed after fertilization. No. So this is Prothelus is a gametophyte which is free living structure. Or you can say that the thalloid gametophyte of pteridophyte is called the Prothelus. Prothelus a is a gametophyte of pteridophyte. Hmm? Which is thalloid gametophyte of pteridophyte is you can add more. Now next one, here is this one, match the following column. Okay, match the following column. Column 1 is giving name of the plant. Oh, no, sorry, this is the name of the classes, group of pteridophyte. Okay, these are classes. The class end with opsida. That's why Psilopsida, Lycopsida, Sphenopsida, and Pteropsida. Opsida is the suffix here. All the name of classes end with opsida. So this is 4 different classes of pteridophyte. Pteridophyte has been divided, and here the name of the some genus. Okay, this genera, which one belong to what, you have to match it. The matching will be Psilopsida, that is the primitive first class of the pteridophyte, and this one has the matching with Xylotum belongs to Psilopsida. Lycopsida is the Selaginella. In this group, some other plant like Lycopodium is also belongs to this group. Okay, Sphenopsida Sphenopsida is equigetum. This group, Sphenopsida, includes those those equisetum or horsetail. This one is a Sphenopsida. Sometimes it is Arthrophyta also. This is Arthrophyta. That the Arthrophyta, like in animal, insect, there is arthropods, that is jointed leg animal. Okay, here this plant has jointed. You have already seen that jointed node and internodes are very distinct. So there it is, arthrophyta also it is called. It is equisetum. And Pteropsida, actually Pteropsida includes the true ferns. Okay, this group include fern, and this one is here. So this includes all the ferns. True ferns are Pteropsida. This is also, this Pteropsida is also known as Filicopsida. Filicopsida. And there is Filicales order under these true ferns are there. Sometime different way this classification name has been given. So which one will be our answer? 1 to 4, B to B is 3, yes, and C, Sphenopsida, C2 and D1. So our answer is the option 1. Now the last question in the pteridophyte. The plants having vascular tissue but no seeds are plants with vascular tissue but no seed. This is the pteridophyte. Other vascular plant, that is gymnosperm and angiosperm, they have the they are seed producing. So pteridophyte is the only group of plant that has vascular tissue, but it does not produce seeds. So this is the plant pteridophyte. Bryophyte is not having vascular tissue. Gymnosperm and angiosperm, they have vascular tissue and produce seed. They are also known as spermatophyta. So these are the few question. I think it appears very easy for you, because all the questions we were doing from the pteridophytes, so that you know the answer will come under pteridophytes. But during exam, when you will have a question from all the chapters, and there will be the mixed type of question. Okay. So now we will start the next group. Next group is our next group is the gymnosperms. Gymnosperms, they are seed plant. They are the gymnosperm and angiosperm together form the seed plant. Okay. Gymnosperms, They are, of course, naked seeded plants because there is no formation of ovary, and that's why there is no fruit, but seed is there, and that's why it is exposed seed. So this is the naked seeded or gymnosperm. These are the vascular plants. They are phanerogames. This gymnosperm and angiosperm, they are phanerogames. Phanerogames of old classification. Okay. Gymnosperm and angiosperm together called the spermatophyta or spermatophyte. Actually, sperma. Sperma is equivalent to seed. So spermatophytes means seed-bearing plants. Okay, the seed-bearing plants. In this group, as we have learned that from the pteridophyte onward, the sporophytic generation is the dominant generation, dominant plant, and so the sporophyte is the dominant phase here also in the life cycle, and that forms the tree. The gametophyte is very much reduced. This one is very dominant, gametophyte is reduced and don't have independent free living existence. Okay, no free living existence. They retain on the mother sporophytic plant. A sporophyte plant, of course, in the sporophyte plant body is a sporophyte, and sporophyte we get in gymnosperm. It is mainly tree, mainly tree. Okay, and only a few are shrubs. A few only are shrubs. Some climbers also are there, but those are very negligible. Shrubs are there. Those which are shrubs, many of them are used as a garden plant also. But of course, both tree and tree species as well as shrub species, they are used as a garden plant because their leaves are very beautiful, and these most of them, the plants are mostly evergreen throughout the life. They have throughout the year they have the leaves on it. Of course, a few are deciduous also is there. One plant which is known as jingo. Jingo, this is also known as maiden hair tree. Hmm. This is maiden hair tree. Okay, this one is deciduous. This is deciduous. Otherwise, the rest of all are evergreen. The common example that is the this one is that pinus, is it? That what we can see here. In the gymnosperm, okay, we see that the tallest tree is among the plant kingdom. The tallest tree is from gymnosperm. This is the sequoia. Sometime it is known as the redwood tree. Tree also. This is the sequoia. This one is the largest, oldest tree species. So, the sporophyte, that like as in the tree it is, so here the sporophytic plant. This has true root, stem, and leaves. Roots are roots are usually taproot. Root is taproot. One some peculiar variation we can see in the gymnosperm. The variation is that roots of some plant, that is particularly cycas. Cycas is one plant. It has two types of root. Uh, yes, cycas, right? It has two types of root. One is the normal root, normal tap root is there, and another one is apogeotropic, that is the coral wide root. Coral, coral, that animals, okay, that which from their calcium carbonate portion, that forms very much branched and tubular rough structure. Some are very beautiful also, that makes the coral reefs. Okay, the root of this cycas, that also appear like corals. So it is known as coral wide root. And this root grow on the above the ground, not inside the ground. They have normal taproot, that is under the ground, under the soil, but the coral wide root is above the ground. This is because they have nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. Okay, there is nostoc colony, nostoc and anabina. They can synthesize uh, the nitrogen. They can fix nitrogen. So nitrogen fixing. Apogeotropic means which grow against the gravity, opposite to the gravity. Geotropic, which is moving towards the earth gravity, towards the center. Apogeotropic, it is opposite in this direction. So this is one symbiotic condition is there with cyanobacteria. In pinus, pinus root have the symbiotic association with fungi. Pinus root have symbiotic association with fungi, and that root along with the fungi is known as mycorrhiza. Myco means, myco is fungi. Mycology is the study of fungi, and rhiza, rhizine is root. So means fungi containing root or fungi associated root, that is mycorrhiza. All right. So this is two peculiar things that we have to remember. In one is cycas and another one is Pinus. They have this, you will find that mushrooms are commonly very common in the pine forest. Here, at least the Ceylon people, they have experience at the pine forest, the very common growth of mushroom we find. This is because that the mushroom, the fungi, they are associated with the root of pinus also. The plant tree, tree is branched or unbranched. Unbranched, among the unbranched tree, that is the cycas. Cycas has a appearance like the palm tree. Cycas is like palm. In palm tree, what happens? There is a column, a stem, and there is crown of leaves. Is it? And there is no branching, rarely branching is found. So it has a columnar unbranched stem, but other are all the shrubs and trees, they are well branched also. And due to their branching pattern, it is they look conical shape and give very good appearance. If we see the leaves of the gymnosperms, the leaf of gymnosperms, so there is simple or compound. This cycas has the largest size leaf. Okay, this is a very large size leaf. And this one is pinnately compound. Pinnately compound leaf, you know, this is a leaf main axis, rachis, and on both sides small leaves or leaf-like structures are there. So this is pinnately compound leaves the cycas is having. You can see the cycas tree, say here. Say this one is cycas. Okay, this is cycas. This is a very small one, garden plant, and here is the leaves are there, the crown of leaves. So, and this one is that you know who can tell better. This you can recognize, that is the pinus tree, and the leaf. This one is the a completely distinct gymnosperm that is called the ginkgo or maiden hair. Here the leaves are little bit different, and this plant look like angiospermic tree. By other character, this plant look like angiospermic tree. Uh, this in the pine tree, the leaves are needle-like. By this needle-shaped structure, they reduce the transpiring surface, and so they can reduce the loss of water. Okay. This most of the uh, gymnosperms, they grow in the low temperature area. Low temperature area, it is rainfall is moderately high. Rainfall is there in hilly areas, in the hills. No. Usually they grow, and but though they grow in the hilly areas in low temperature, but still they shows characteristics of xerophyte. Xerophytes are plant which grow in the areas where there is very less amount of water is available and high temperature is there. But the gymnosperm, though they are growing in the hilly areas in low temperature, rainfall is quite high, but they shows the xerophytic character. And that's why their leaves particularly in the leaves have thick cuticle. They have thick cuticle layer. Cuticle is a this is a chemical called cutin. Okay, this cutin layer on the epidermal surface of the leaves. Thick is the cuticle, less the water can pass through it, so the transpiration will be checked. And so in xerophyte, cuticle is thick. In hydrophyte, cuticles are very thin or it is absent. Okay, and they have sunken stomata. Stomata is not exactly on the surface. Okay, but what happened? Stomata is present in the grooves. So these stomata are not directly exposed to the sunlight, and this also reduces the water loss by transpiration. Another thing that we find in most of the gymnosperms, the leaves are very small leaves. Okay, very small. They are say those you think about those trees, um, those trees you use during the Christmas festival for making Christmas tree. They have very small leaves, very small leaves, sessile leaves. No, these small size leaves, they also reduce the water loss. So this is most of the cases, the leaves are small. In case of pinus, that needle-like leaves also reduce the surface area, so reducing the loss of water through transpiration. So leaves of gymnosperms are well adapted to withstand extremes of temperature, humidity, and wind. If we see the reproduction is mainly sexual. Asexual reproduction is not there. Means vegetative reproduction is very few. Some of the trees they produce buds like the cycas, etc. They produce bulbil or the adventitious buds which can be grown into new cycas plant. So reproduction is mainly sexual, and the reproduction is naturally right from the in some of the algae and in from bryophyte onward all are oogamous, and this is in gymnosperm and angiosperm, it is heterosporus, means they produce two distinct spore and megaspore. Okay, They produce microspores and megaspores. The microspore is produced on the microsporangiums. Are of course a haploid. This is main, that is the male, and the megaspores in in the microsporangium and megasporangia respectively. So microspore is produced within microsporangium and megaspore within megasporangium. The megasporangium is also known as ovule. This ovule has a body called nucellus and surrounded by the integument. Okay, this sporangia are born on the modified structure which is known as sporophyll, what we have also found in case of pteridophyte. Okay, but here the sporophylls are completely modified fully, and these sporophylls, they are organized into cone or strobilus. Strobilus. Okay. Cone or strobilus. So the megaspore, if we say microsporo, spores are produced within the microsporangium. And microsporangium are born on microsporophyll. And these microsporophylls are organized into strobilus, that is, we can call them male cone. Similarly, megaspore, the megaspore is produced within the megasporangium. Megasporangia are born on the megasporophyll, and megasporophyll make the female cone. All right, this male cone or the male strobilus is also known as microsporangiate, and female is macrosporangiate or megasporangiate. This male cone and the female cone, they may born on the same plant or on different plant. Like in case of pinus, female cones you can see throughout the year, and male cones are producing now during this period. You can see the yellow dust that the pollen grains of the pine tree comes out. So here in the pinus, male and female cones are produced on the same tree. But in case of cycas, the plants are male and female different. The different trees, some are male trees, some are female trees. In jingo also, cycas and pinus, cycas and jingo. Also, male and female trees are different. See, one thing that male within the microsporangia, they produce the microspore, that is the pollen grain, and it is released and carried out by air. Pollen grains are carried by air, and it is transferred to the female sex organ. Okay. The within the megasporangium, or what is called the ovule, within this there is a nucellus, and from the nucellus develop megaspore mother cell. Say, remember here, megasporangium is there. Within the megasporangium, nucellus. Nucellus is the main part of the megasporangium. So within the megasporangium nucellus, from there the megaspore mother cell is developed. And this megaspore mother cell divide by meiosis and produce 4 megaspores. This megaspore then divide, okay, out of the 4 megaspore, only 1 megaspore usually survive. This megaspore divide, then megaspore give rise to female gametophyte. Female gametophyte. And from the female gametophyte, there develop Archiconia. And in the Archiconia, there is egg. Okay? Egg is produced. The pollen grain are carried to the megasporangium or to the ovule by wind, by air, and then there it germinate, and when it germinate it produce a pollen tube, and this pollen tube carries the male gamete, and this male gamete is discharged near the Archiconia, and finally the male gamete fuse with the egg to form the zygote. This zygote is diploid, sporophytic generation, and ultimately This zygote develop into embryo, and the megasporangium, that ovule form seed. Zygote developed into embryo and ovule form the seed. The seed germinate. You know, the ovule of cycas is largest. Male gamete or the sperm in cycas is largest in the plant kingdom. So seeds, this ovule form the seed as there is no ovary, so there is no the no fruit formation. This some of the gymnosperms like cycas, jingo, pinus, taxus, nitum, nitum, thuja, Araucaria, etc. are cryptomeria, these are some of the gymnosperm plant. Gymnosperm is, say this one, gymnosperm has a high economic value, particularly in terms of timber wood, because most of the trees, they are straight and columnar. Main column is very thick and they grow very tall. This thing is mainly found in the gymnosperm, and due to this, the gymnosperm has a high value as a timber. This is, of course, their wood is softwood, and seasoning, etc., is very easy. Polishing it look very beautiful. So for the for making furnitures, etc., this is very valuable tree groups. Okay, so I will stop it today. In the next class, we will solve some question from the gymnosperms. Okay, objective question from gymnosperm.